that everybody's waiting for, where they're saying the vast majority of stuff was released, and they didn't mention one name of somebody who's a perpetrator.
How does this affect your life?
It doesn't.
That's not the
We're just
point.
having a
But I'm
conversation
just
about
saying,
what is logical.
There's things that are important. There's things you can control. I have no control over this. Is it important? Sure.
Bro, that is a crazy statement to make. Call it the Clinton files, Gates files, Epstein files, I don't care what you call it. Arrest somebody. I genuinely don't think the guys on PBD got the memo. No one cares about Bill Clinton. Arrest him. Hell, I've been saying you should have arrested him from the time he was on the Arsenio Hall show doing the whole saxophone thing. Yes, that's where that line from Animaniacs came from. Bill Clinton plays the sax. But in all seriousness though, if he was on the island, if he was in the hotel, and he was doing anything with underage girls, by all means, lock him up. I don't think you'll hear a single person defending him.
What is that picture right there? Is that him in a bathtub? Him in a hot tub?
Unfortunately. Yeah. And there's a girl, we're assuming, that's in that little black square that's tiny enough to fit there because you can't see the rest of her. That's unbothered. These guys with their silk, disgusting shirts.
Jeez.
You know, and I seen that photo on the bottom right, the unredacted photo. Allegedly, it was a girl that was one of the girls that would recruit and bring sex traffic these girls in. I forgot what her name was.
So, Vinny, what do we learn with everything that came out with Epstein?
The one thing that drove me nuts is not one Democrat. You notice that? Not one Democrat came out and denounced what Bill Clinton,
Denounced what Bill Clinton, finish the sentence. Denounced what Bill Clinton what? Did? Quite frankly, I've heard a bunch of people saying lock him up. They took their largest step on this show specifically to try to rewrite the narrative. Because currently, in the EFTA, there were instructions for what you can redact and what you can't redact. And if you do redact, there has to be an explanation. Look at some of the things that are needed to be released. Flight logs or travel records, including but not limited to manifests, itineraries, pilot records, and or customs immigration documents. They got everything. But there's one specific section you need to pay attention to. No record shall be withheld, delayed, or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity, including to any government official, public figure, or foreign dignitary. The Attorney General may withhold or redact the segregable portions of records that. And then down here in section 1, it tells you who can be redacted and on what basis. So that means no politicians, no one rich, no one powerful, no foreign actors. Why? Because there has to be some level of transparency. Everyone needs to be able to see who had some level of communication with Jeffrey Epstein, even if it's going to come at the cost of embarrassment. And if there is going to be some means of protection that's offered to say, yes, this person took a picture with Epstein, but they had no affiliation with him in terms of trafficking, then an explanation needs to be given. In other words, context. What is the context behind this person taking a picture with Epstein? And you have a perfect example in something that PBD should have caught on to. Michael Jackson and Diana Ross had taken a picture with Jeffrey Epstein. And if you didn't know any better, you would look at the situation and you would see the little redaction in the corner and you would think Michael was on trial for kid diddling. Epstein was on trial for kid diddling. Is there some kind of connection here? Unless you understand the scenario and unless you understand the context, that's the assumption that would be made. But that would be these two sets of pictures right here, until you realize it's a picture that's already available to the public that has Michael, Bill Clinton, Diana Ross, and Michael's kids. Now, if you didn't know any better and you saw a picture like this, and in the environment we currently live in, knowing who Epstein is now, you see him with Michael Jackson, you would naturally assume some wrong. The context behind this picture is Epstein, according to Michael Jackson's own bodyguard, Michael was house shopping because he wanted to live in Florida. Epstein happens to own a home in Florida. When he was being taken on a tour, everyone wanted a picture with him. Why? It's Michael Jackson. Why wouldn't you want a picture with him?
I wonder.
He got to Epstein's home. Epstein asked him for a picture, and being polite, he took one with him. And what I'm saying is, if we can do that with Michael Jackson to apply context, then all of the other photos, except the actual victims, and we got to get into that word. How do you define victims? Because they seem to think that political figures, foreign figures, rich and powerful millionaires and billionaires, they're potentially victims as well. But if we can unredact Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, and Bill Clinton, then everyone else except the victims that were being trafficked by Epstein, all the other guys that were seated at the table, all the other guys that are in the flight logs, we can unredact that as well.
That they grabbed.
This is which house?
This is in Epstein's house.
Palm Beach house, or is this the
I think this
island?
is the island. I think this is the island, if I'm not mistaken.
They're mixed. Some
They're
are
mixed. So
yeah.
some
bit of
here,
both. Okay.
some there. And I'm gonna be honest with you. There's some that I saw that are like they blacked out the face of the girl. Jeffrey Epstein is with girls that are 8 years old.
Stop.
I'm not. There's no the size of the human.
I think he's referring to the person that was on the Lolita Express, Epstein's private plane. And if that is the claim that he's making, then yeah, he's correct on that aspect. It's a little girl. She's in a skirt. She couldn't be no more than, it looks like anyway. She could just be a very short teenager, but she looks like she's about 10 years old, maybe 12 max.
Being in his arm was a child. Multiple. Okay, I didn't see any.
Please use the word allegedly, Vinny.
No, Adam.
Allegedly.
Trust me, I'm gonna show it to you when we're done. I don't even want to show them. It's just a little girl with him on an airplane. They blacked out her face, but it's the body of a child. It's not a midget. It's a child. Okay, let's not pretend that it's not. That's what he
Could have
did.
been somebody's kid.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't know.
Okay, multiple
Sure, Pat. Okay, so you're trying to apply context. Got it.
different size children in his arms. There was 3 of them that I saw.
Okay.
That okay, it could have. But guess what? If you're letting your child hang out with Jeffrey
Go on
Epstein,
that picture with Michael Jackson, by the way, because I'm seeing that everywhere. Bottom right there.
These are a lot of Bill Clinton photos. If there's any of him doing any wrongdoing, because according to Bill Clinton, he's more than willing to just have the entire files released. So I don't know if maybe he's bluffing, but he said release the whole thing. If you're going to release this, then release it on everyone. So maybe he's just taking into consideration his age. That is he really going to get locked up right now? But I agree with him. Release everything. He put it in a statement. According to the spokesperson for former President Bill Clinton, the Epstein Files Transparency Act imposes a clear legal duty on the U.S. Department of Justice to produce the full and complete record the public demands and deserves. However, what the DOJ has released so far and the manner in which it did so makes one thing clear. Someone or something is being protected. We do not know whom, what, or why, but we do know this. We need no such protection. Accordingly, we call on President Trump to direct Attorney General Bondi to immediately release any remaining materials referring to mentioning or containing a photograph of Bill Clinton. This includes, without limitation, any records that may exist and or subject to disclosure under the Act, including grand jury transcripts, interview notes, photographs, and findings by the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Refusal to do so will confirm the widespread suspicion that the DOJ's actions to date are not about transparency, but about insinuation. So if Clinton is on board saying, put everything out there, why haven't we put everything out there?
What's the top left one? Go to the top left one. What's it say up top? Michael Jackson by Jonathan, the singer of Michael Jackson.
With his children.
With his children, Michael Joseph Jackson Jr. and Paris this. So it's important to look through all of them. But Vinny, please continue.
yeah, no, and it's like okay, and besides, like just think about how serious and how I'm happy that it's leaking out, but Bill, like how much more do we need to see about Bill Clinton? Let's really think about it. I know they're a president, immunity, untouchable. Besides,
No, he's very much saying put it all out there. What do you mean, how much more do you need to see? Put everything out there for the public to see. Unredact everyone that doesn't need to be redacted, and then let them explain themselves. I'm telling you, none of this is going to stop until there's an arrest made. So then now we get this other guy speaking.
Don't think that we're going to get anything satisfying ever because like it went to the highest level it could go to. Like the DOJ was required by law to release everything by December 20th. And they didn't do it. They redacted like 10% of the stuff that was in there. And I was wondering like
He thinks they only redacted 10%. If they only redacted 10%, that'd be the victims. That would be it. Just the victims and private stuff that you can't really put online. All the other faces of all these guys, it'd be out there for the public to see. So what if there's embarrassment? So what if you need to explain yourself that, hey, you know what? It was a charity that I was at. Epstein was there. He asked me to take a picture. I took a picture with him. That's all. There's no financial tracking of anything that I have to do with him. All of that was required in the EFTA. It said you cannot redact a public figure based on if they're just going to be embarrassed, if they're a political figure, if they're a foreign actor, nothing along those lines. You have to put everyone out there and then apply some context as to what it is their affiliation is with Jeffrey Epstein.
like once the DOJ defies a law, then like, you know, what's the next level of accountability for that? Because the DOJ is the one that makes the laws and that holds people accountable. It's what the Attorney General is responsible for that, and then you know it's just the president above the Attorney General. So I guess the next layer above that's Congress.
Contempt of Congress.
The DOJ, but so it's like you know I think it's kind of run its course, and it sucks because I can't imagine how many people are like still being victimized by this and like haven't gotten justice for it. But like, what the hell else is there to do? Like there's just things I guess that are too powerful to ever get an answer to.
Yeah, Adam, where are you at with this?
So they have that full segment. One of the victims of Epstein's trafficking island actually spoke out after the release, voicing her own disappointment, pretty much stating that, again, you see the government doing everything in their power to protect the rich and powerful.
Before the files came out, and then when they did come out, we were just in shock. And we've seen that there is nothing there that is transparent. So it's very sad. It's very disappointing. It's a slap in our faces at this point.
Do you mind me asking how old you were when you came into contact with Jeffrey Epstein and how long this all lasted?
I was 14 years old when I met. I had just turned 14. I turned 14 in June. I met Epstein, I would say August or September. So I had just turned 14, and our relationship or friendship, I would say, ended at 17 years old.
17, and why did it end then?
Well, at that point, you know, he had made it very clear to me that I was old and I was no longer fun for him. So he booted me out and, you know, I was no longer needed for him.
The Department of Justice suggests that 1,200 victims and their families have effectively been shielded from view in these documents. Do we know how many victims there are of Jeffrey Epstein?
From what I know, it's over 1,000. And that's just what, you know, that's just what the DOJ can collect or the FBI can collect. But I presume there may be more than that.
And in reading these documents, do you see patterns of behaviour? For example, one investigative set of notes, some 13 pages, shows that it says, big Brazilian group, desperate time, running out of girls. Do you see patterns of the specifics of what Jeffrey Epstein wanted as you look through these documents?
So when I saw that, it made me think, was that my deposition or was that part of my writing when I gave that to the FBI? I am Brazilian. I think when they spoke to me, I was the first victim that they spoke to in New York. And a lot of those notes just really seems like it was what I was saying to the Southern District or the FBI at the time. So I'm not sure if it was me, but that is definitely, a lot of it is part of my deposition and what I said.
You know what I find absolutely crazy, though? Epstein used to push some of his contacts that he had available and readily on the phone to entice some of the girls. So he had access to pageants, he had access to model agencies, actors, directors. It really was a casting couch if you think about it. As long as he and his friends could do whatever it is that they want to these little girls, then he'll always dangle the carrot of opportunity and prosperity in front of them, telling them, I know you're nothing right now, but I'll make you into something if you let some of my friends just kind of do a few things to you. And the only question I have to ask is, why are we protecting that? But beyond that, you have some people that think that this isn't even really an issue. There are bigger fish to fry. And I would venture to say, no, there aren't. How is it that you could properly sleep at night knowing that these people not only run your economy, but they run your government? And that leads me to this guy on the PBD show that basically gave the Ben Shapiro answer, that there's bigger fish to fry right now. This isn't that big of an issue. Or what is it that he said? How is this affecting you in your life? I will give it to Vinny. He's been pretty consistent in saying that he doesn't care who gets arrested as long as the right people are arrested and as long as the wrongdoers are arrested. So it doesn't matter if they're Republican, it doesn't matter if they're Democrat, it really doesn't matter if they're poor or rich. If they had some level of affiliation within the trafficking ring, arrest them. He's been consistent on that aspect. But the reply to this statement blew my mind.
The DOJ, the Department of Justice, the FBI, whoever, they've seen all the unredacted. They've seen all the videos that Pam Bondi said were there, but then weren't there. So why no arrest? Why no arrest? If you have footage and you have proof that either Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, Reid Hoffman, Ehud Barak, anybody was with an underage girl, why hasn't one? Because you cannot be that naive, Adam.
Fair.
Somebody did something wrong, okay? She's in jail for 20 years for trafficking underage girls. Where were the Johns? Where were the dudes that were getting the girls? Not one arrest? This isn't some crazy, ooh, we're trying to connect dots. This isn't that game. They see everything and not one arrest. So going to his point, That means the powerful, rich elites are disgusting, sleeping with underage girls, call it pedophilia, call it whatever, okay? Whatever they are, MAPS, okay? Somebody should be going down. She's the only one in jail. So that should tell you that the people here are like, shut up. And I'm not going to trust this guy either, Todd Blanche. He's the loudest, coolest guy in the room. He has a relationship with the president. Throw him in prison for the rest of his life. No. It's the slick willies. It's the Bill Clinton. It's the Bill Gates. It's all these people. Adam, I'm not saying, guess what? They fit the profile.
The president's DOJ is doing a very good job of protecting the slick willies.
What does that tell you? They were bowling together? No. That says something bigger. So I get your point, but it's not a valid one.
Well,
Hear this answer.
Adam,
Yeah,
doesn't that bother you?
8,000 pages and nobody held accountable.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank God attorneys and deputy generals don't need to respond to emotional men who want to see things.
That's such your go-to. That's your go-to.
Okay.
That's such a weak argument.
What's emotional?
It's a weak argument. What are you talking
you don't think
about,
he's
Adam?
being angry and emotional
No,
right
I'm not
now?
being angry and emotional.
it's a
You're
crazy
being
topic.
unethical.
Deputy Attorney
You're being
General
unethical.
has to say.
Who cares, Adam?
It's a
Who
crazy-
cares?
I get that you
James
trust-
Comey.
I get
James
that you
Comey was
trust
trustworthy.
nobody.
You trusted James Comey? He was the FBI director.
Okay,
You
Vinny,
trust James
let me
Comey?
throw you some tissues for
No,
a
it's
second. baby.
unbelievable how you don't get it, Adam. You don't get it.
I'm talking calmly.
No, that
and
doesn't
rationally
matter.
And
I have to
using
yell
what the
'cause you don't
deputy
get it.
attorney
Let me
general
ask you
is
a question
saying.
that so wait, so
hold
does it
on.
make
Let's
sense
go-
though
let's
that
go to
nobody's
what they
name is
said in the
mentioned?
law.
Epstein wasn't trafficking men. So why are we redacting men's faces that are over the age of 18? These men are all adults, grown men at that. So why are we redacting their faces?
Why is this all coming up when Trump is the president? Didn't the Democrats have all access to all these documents?
We were pissed
for
about
4
them,
years?
too.
We've been mad about it since I got
so
on
now
this
everyone wants to
podcast.
pin it on Trump, and you're like,
No.
he's worked for
pinned it?
Trump. I don't trust
Who
him.
pinned it on
No.
Trump?
Grow
Who
up,
brought this
bro.
guy up?
DOJ.
Grow up.
Department of Justice.
Okay, do you think Trump was responsible for this Epstein nonsense?
We didn't say that.
I did not
Okay.
say who said
All right,
that. Adam.
I get that you
But
want
at the
heads to
beginning-
roll.
No, of course
but
I
there's
do.
something called the justice system, and none of us are lawyers.
Change the narrative.
Pretending you understand what's going on here. I'm just following the facts of the case. I don't have emotional involvement like you do. Okay? I would like to see justice done the right way.
Okay.
Okay? And Humberto, I'm not sure if you have the actual texts from the documents, not emotional, not teardrops, not Kleenex for you, Vinny. Actual,
I'm really
actual
emotional.
things, statements that were said in the documents. Do you have it?
By the way, while I was pulling it up, I'm being logical, Adam.
The Attorney General shall make publicly available internal DOJ communications, including emails, memos, meeting notes concerning decisions to charge or not charge, investigate or decline to investigate Epstein or his associates.
Keep reading.
According to the Epstein Files Transparency Act, Section 2A. Humberto, do you have any of this stuff that I text you?
Keep reading.
Okay. Second, no record should be withheld, delayed, or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity, including to any government, official, public figure, or foreign dignitary.
I wonder if he knows that he just disputed his own point by saying that I don't trust the law. And he just read out the law himself, and he can clearly see that the DOJ just broke the law. They released it in the time that they were allowed up until the last minute, but they left too much information behind, and the information that they released, it wasn't everything that was there. Not everything is present. How can you read that and think that he just scored a point?
Released that everybody's waiting for, where they're saying the vast majority of stuff was released, and they didn't mention one name of somebody who's a
How
perpetrator.
does this affect your life?
It doesn't.
That's not
We're
the
just having a
point.
But I'm
conversation
just
about
saying,
what is logical.
There's things that are important. There's things you can control. I have no control over this. Is it important? Sure.
Bro, that is a crazy statement to make.
Do you think I thought about this before this weekend?
I think
no.
you think about it way more than the average person.
Adam, guess what?
And that's where I'm going to stop. What I find funny, not conspiratorial, not coincidental, just funny. He gave the same answer Ben Shapiro gave, basically.
And he says, guys, don't we have better things to do? You can understand his irritation. The man is trying to. However, when President Trump speaks for the American people more generally, and he says, guys, don't we have better things to do? You can understand his irritation. The man is trying to negotiate an end to a war in the Gaza Strip. He's trying to negotiate an end to a war in Ukraine. He's attempting to revivify the American economy. He's attempting to crack down on illegal immigration. On a list of American priorities by the polls, the Epstein-Maxwell case comes in pretty close to zero, just on a list of priorities.
Just want to know, is that true? Because if you look around, that's not the reaction I see. But that's all I got for now. Whatever your thoughts are, leave them in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, and I will see you again on the next one. Be easy, y'all.